You probably know that people in Japan live longer than almost anywhere in the world. There are nearly 100,000 people living in Japan who are over 100 years old. But a few weeks ago, I came across another stat that blew me away. There's a small Japanese city in the Kyoto Prefecture called Kyotango, which has an amazing 160 centenarians per 100,000 people. Oh, arigata! Japan averages 50 centenarians per 100,000 people. Kyotango has more than 3 times that. Kyotango is located on the west coast of Japan, on the Tango Peninsula, a crooked finger of land jutting out into the Sea of Japan. On one side, there is ocean. On the other side, there are mountains, ancient cedar forests, river valleys, and terraced rice paddies. About an hour and a half's drive from Kyoto City. And until very recently, almost nobody outside of Japan had even heard of it. In this video, we're going to run through 5 key foods that the people of Kyotango eat to help them live long, healthy lives with extremely low rates of obesity. And right at the end, I'm going to tell you exactly why a group of the world's leading longevity researchers gathered in Kyotango in 2025 and exactly what they found. So let's go! The first thing I noticed walking around Kyotango was sesame. Sesame in soups, sesame in pickles, sesame things I didn't even know could have sesame in them. Hello, konnichiwa. But it's the way people here use sesame which is completely different from what the rest of the world do. Sesame is a base ingredient. They grind it into a paste and use it as the fat, flavor foundation of many dishes, kind of the way we'd use butter or oil. Sesame is one of the best plant-based sources of calcium there is, and it's loaded with magnesium, which most of us are chronically low on. It also contains a compound called sesamin, which acts as a powerful antioxidant, which in the West is sometimes used to help lower blood pressure, manage cholesterol, and reduce inflammation. The elderly people in Kyotango have been eating ground sesame every single day since childhood, and a lifetime of something that small, done consistently, that's where it starts to have a big impact on longevity. Now, sesame is just the warm-up, because the next thing on the table is something almost nobody outside this region has ever tasted. This is Heshiko. Heshiko is mackerel packed into fermented rice bran and left to sit for up to 2 years. It smells exactly like what you're picturing. Ugh. But here's what's actually happening inside that box. The rice bran, called nuka, is teeming with naturally occurring bacteria and enzymes. Over months of fermentation, they break down proteins into amino acids your body can absorb directly. Hi. Arigato. Thank you. Mackerel is already one of the best sources of omega-3s on the planet, but fermentation takes it much further. And it dramatically increases how much of those omega-3s your body can actually use. The folk here eat heshiko in small amounts, a thin slice or 2 with rice on most days, almost like a condiment. And what it does is act as a daily gut bacteria delivery system in one bite. And look, most of us can't get heshiko, but it's the principle that matters. Fermented oily fish in small, regular quantities is one of the most nutrient-dense things you can eat. The whole fermentation thing keeps showing up here, because the next thing on the Kyotango table is something you wouldn't expect. When sake rice is pressed and filtered, it leaves behind this creamy white paste called sake kasu. Usually this is a brewing byproduct, but in Kyotango, it's food. The centenarians here have been eating sake kasu their entire lives. It goes into soups, it's used as a marinade for fish, vegetables, it's stirred into broths. But what exactly has this got to do with health and longevity? Well, what's actually in sake kasu is kind of remarkable. It's packed with resistant protein, a form of protein your body doesn't absorb as calories. Instead, it acts like fiber in your gut, feeding your beneficial bacteria. It's rich in B vitamins, amino acids, and a compound called ferulic acid, a powerful antioxidant that has been linked to a lower risk of neurodegenerative diseases. The irony is that the byproduct of making alcohol might be one of Japan's greatest longevity foods. Wow. Sake Kasu is increasingly available outside Japan now. You can find it in some Asian supermarkets and health food stores. Look for unpasteurized versions if you can. The live cultures are the whole point. So far, we have ground sesame, fermented mackerel, and sake kasu. But the next item is the one researchers specifically called out as the defining feature of Kyotango's gut health. Most people have had miso soup at a Japanese restaurant, perhaps, or bought from a health store. But what researchers found in Kyotango's miso is genuinely different from what you're buying. Oh, thank you. A study compared the gut microbiomes of elderly residents in Kyotango with elderly residents in Kyoto City. Same prefecture, same country, but with vastly different longevity outcomes. The Kyotango residents had significantly higher levels of specific beneficial bacteria, particularly bifidobacterium, directly tied to reduced inflammation and a healthier immune system. And the researchers traced a lot of this back to the miso, not generic supermarket miso, but traditionally made long fermented miso, produced using Kyotango's specific water, koji strains, and soybeans. The microclimate here, the mineral content of the water, the local bacterial ecosystem, it all produces a miso with a genuinely different microbial fingerprint. The centenarians eat miso soup every day, but they're also using miso as the condiment, a cooking paste, and marinade. It's in their food constantly, in small amounts from morning until night. Here's the practical takeaway. The quality of miso changes everything. Look for traditionally fermented, unpasteurized miso in a tub that contains live bacteria. And don't boil it. Heat kills them. Always add it to hot liquids or soup, never boiling ones. But there is one more thing the people eat here that could be one of the biggest reasons why people live so long. Kyotango sits right between mountains and sea. And that coastline isn't just beautiful, it's been feeding people here for thousands of years with one specific thing, kombu, a type of edible seaweed. It contains more iodine per gram than almost anything else you can eat, which directly supports thyroid function. Your thyroid regulates everything: metabolism, body temperature, energy levels, and thyroid dysfunction is now understood to be a major driver of premature aging. It also appears to activate natural killer cells, the part of your immune system that identifies and destroys abnormal cells before they become a problem. Not only that, seaweed is rich in prebiotic fiber, the kind that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. Dried kombu is available pretty much everywhere. Drop a small piece into any pot of soup, beans, or grains while they cook. It'll dissolve, add minerals you can't taste, and give you a prebiotic hit. But here's what I actually came here to tell you. In 2025, the world's leading longevity researchers gathered in Kyotango and asked one question: exactly why do people live so long here? They identified 4 things. First, there is bonds and communication. The people here maintain strong, daily, face-to-face social connection their entire lives. Not a weekly phone call on a Sunday, not a text or email thread. Real presence every single day. Second, there's dietary fiber. Everything we've covered, the sesame, the fermented foods, the seaweed, and it all points to one thing: these people are feeding their gut bacteria constantly with real whole food fiber. Their microbiomes look decades younger than their chronological age. Next, there's daily physical activity, but not in a gym. No workouts either. Rather, lives built around movement. Walking to the market, working in gardens, fishing at the coast. In other words, movement woven into the day rather than scheduled into it. And finally, there was ikigai, the Japanese concept of having a reason to get out of bed. A purpose. Something that makes you feel needed. In Kyotango, elderly people are not retired from life. They're embedded in it. They have roles. They're expected somewhere. I went to Kyotango expecting to find some magical ingredients. And I did. The sesame, the heshiko, the sake kasu, the miso, and the seaweed. They're all real and they all matter. But the honest truth is that none of them work in isolation. The food only works because of the life it's embedded in. Yes, you can buy kombu online. You can find good miso. You can track down sake kasu. But the hardest thing to replicate, and the thing that might matter most, is socializing, communication, and connection.
Hi!
Thanks for watching. Check out the next video here. And don't forget to subscribe!